And a pleasant good day to you and yours, and welcome back, but with my other hat now. We're into voices for today, and we're fast coming to the end of the year. Carnival and Christmas is in the atmosphere, the ambience, you're beginning to feel it, and you're definitely seeing it when you see the various homes and their Christmas lighting and other paraphernalia that makes you get that sort of a inner warmth that hey, it's that time of the year. Here's hoping that you are in good stead, and I'm sort of remembering a call that Sylvine made this morning, reminding us that there are many who, during this time that is supposed to be a festive time of the year, that there are many who are despondent, who don't have much, and could need a little bit of your help. So, in whatever way that you can contribute, feel free to do so. Hello, good day.
Yes, Quint, it's me
Yes.
again. Greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name. Now, in your previous program, I said something, but because I had the short time, I didn't say all that I wanted to say. Okay? Now, it's concerning, again, going back to the Republic thing, okay? Now, I said concerning that in my second call that, for those who believe government should be making laws, legislating laws, and that sort of stuff, you should be concerned about having your government to have to go to the Governor General, the representative of the monarchy, in order for that law, in order for that thing that is put before your Governor General, for the Governor General to sign, to make it to be law. You should be concerned about that, because if the Governor General disagree and the monarchy take the side of the Governor General, then you're going to run into problems. Well, remember somebody from the PAM said, well, it seems to me as though the person said, well, Parliament is the one who really get rid of the Governor General. You only notify the monarchy. Well, even if that was the case, and that didn't seem to me to be the case with Sir Probin Innes, but even if that is the case, the Parliament get rid of the Governor General, well, it's still, that to me still make a case that you don't need the monarchy. So why have it over your head?
Yeah, and
Either way.
and the fact that we heard that this new swearing in, they're still under the monarchy, but they don't say to his, we pledge allegiance to his heirs and so on and so forth. It means that they do have some scope, but for whatever reason they don't utilize it.
Yeah, well, to me, if you're under the monarchy, even if you swear to the people, to me that is more symbolism over substance, because you're still under the head of the monarchy. So to me, even that swearing that doesn't really mean much.
I agree, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying, at least it shows that you're maybe leaning towards becoming a bit more emboldened towards moving away from, as opposed to just staunchly continuing. So,
Yeah, well, that part is left to be seen. That part is left to be seen, because they might do it just to make them feel good.
well,
But for my part now, because I do not believe, like I said in your previous program, based upon the Bible, that government should be legislating and making laws. The Bible just reduce government to the judicial only, and the people carry out the sentences. That's the biblical way. So for me, it wouldn't be a matter of government making law for the Governor General to sign it in order to make it law.
but
For me
even,
now,
but
where
even,
the matter comes in. Yeah, what I was saying, for me now, where the matter comes in now, is that if God was to one day give us a leader who would do things the biblical way, you still don't want to have the monarchy over you, because if the monarchy disagree, you don't want that possibility of confusion and that sort of stuff. So either way, I am for a republic, either way, especially if we're going to have it God's way. You still don't want any possible confusion and conflict with a monarchy over you.
yes,
You want
but
to erase them.
What I'm saying is, even when you interject and say God's way, I have a concern with that because that is God's way as far as you're concerned, as far as your interpretation. But that isn't any.
And as far as I read it in the Bible, yeah.
Well, yeah, you can say all what you want, but as far as I'm concerned, that is your way. That is you trying to impose something on us, but using the God and the Bible thing to get us to buy into it.
Well,
right?
we're going to disagree over that.
Well, yes, we're always going to disagree. I just wanted to interject that so that you're clear that your stance is yours and mine is mine.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So I'm saying whether we're going to do it the Bible way, even if things are going to continue wrongly in government legislating laws and that sort of stuff, either way, for all concerned, we still shouldn't want to have the monarchy over us because either way can cause problems.
Okay.
And Miss Henry is correct with with people, especially during this time of year, who does feel lonely and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. There should be given our concern and that sort of stuff because there are people who don't be very lonely at this time of the year.
Very
For
despondent.
whatever reason.
Did you ever see the story, the Grinch's Christmas?
I don't think I've seen the story in full, but I know about it.
Well,
The Grinch who stole Christmas.
Yeah, it's because of that. Because when he was a child, everybody treated him so bad. He wanted certain things, he couldn't get them, and he just developed this hate inside of him that he said he hated Christmas. And then in the end, when you saw a little girl, after he stole all of the toys and everything and tried to disrupt the people's Christmas, just one little girl showing him a kindness and love, and his heart had been shrunk to such a small size, and his heart just blew back up to its full size, and he realized that, so yeah, it's a very good thing. A lot of people are going through, and it affects them, and sometimes years later when you see people are grumpy and hateful, and so it's because of the things that they went through when they were young.
Yes. But as a matter of fact, many things in our younger days, I believe,
Influence.
marks and us in our older days. Many things.
Yeah.
Yes, and you're quite right. But let me just give a fun fact, just for trivia sake. Just for trivia's sake, let me give a fun fact. Santa Claus. Well, we don't believe in Santa Claus, but just for a fun trivial fact.
Yeah.
Santa Claus reindeers are really female with man names.
No, I didn't know that. How do you come to
Yes,
that
with
conclusion?
Rudolph and Dixon and the sort of stuff. Yes, they are really females with man names.
Okay,
You know why?
Oh, go ahead.
Because
Tell me.
during winter time, is only the male shed the antlers.
Oh.
The female keep theirs.
Okay. So the fact that all of them have antlers means that they are female during the
They're
winter
really
time.
female with male names. Yes.
Rather interesting. I never thought of it from that. Okay. Good bit of trivia there.
Take care.
Yeah, same to you. Okay, let's take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
The clock is ticking. It's Hartsford's Building and Nevis Centers and Builders Paradise Christmas Countdown Sale. This Thursday, December 18 to that day, December 20. Enjoy 30% off store-wide all weekend. Plus 12% VAT on that day, Saturday, December 20 on everything you need before the holidays. Don't wait. Time is running out to save big before Christmas Day. Build with us at Hartsford's Building and Nevis Centers and get everyday low prices at Builders Paradise.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people, Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
And we're back. And I saw the phones lighting up just a while ago. It's quite weird how when we're going through a commercial break, I will see the phones lighting up, and just before the break finishes, they stop ringing. You know, so yeah, well, okay, you're back. Hello, caller. Good day.
Good morning again.
Good day to you, Sylvine, and welcome back.
I just want to respond to what Greg said. Now, according to the Holy Bible, Moses was the one who gave a lot of, you could read him in Leviticus. Was he out of order?
Well, I don't know. I
He
leave
gave
that.
rules that govern.
I leave that for you Bible people to discuss.
Hello?
I leave that for you Bible individuals to discuss and conclude. I don't
No,
know.
he needed it. And then Jesus paid taxes, you know.
Yeah.
The story where they had to pay taxes. It was Jew and thing. And he tell Peter, go down the bay, you see a fish, open them out. I think the grand pepper. All of us. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph was going
To pay
Bethlehem
taxes. Yeah.
to be counted and to pay the taxes.
Yeah.
No, a lot of the libertarian, that's what the Bible said. Every man, this is how the Bible describes them. People did what was right in their own sight.
Yeah.
So when he come in and kind of, his argument is weak.
Well, that is why I say that is his own sight. That is in
No,
his
he's a
own sight.
libertarian. Not even God, I suppose not even God could tell him nothing. Because that is what the Bible said. The people did what was right. Even Jesus said, look, Moses says so and so. You know, in it, you see, when you're mixing up the things, it don't work out.
Yeah.
How many of the libertarians are Christians?
I wouldn't
How
know.
many of them concern with what the Bible says?
I don't know.
That's one. Now the next thing is our destiny.
Yeah.
I was looking at destiny in a different direction. I called into Austin Edinburgh show. I usually call in on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
I asked the question, who is responsible for helping us shape our destiny as a people? And I'm talking about this thing. Here you have a black country. You intend to bring in people of another ethnic group who are more economically able than us,
Yeah.
who already stated their intent.
Yeah.
So who is planning for us?
That's my
We
question.
elected the Prime Minister and Mr. Brantley with the intention that our situation be made better.
Would be represented. Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, so who's going to shape our destiny? They're going to have to shape our destiny.
Yeah. Well,
If they're going to be controlling India and out here, because once you control our political leaders, you control.
but that is their intent, Sylvine. That is why they named it. Look.
That's why I'm asking Greg, who do you expect to determine our destiny? If they're going to control the jobs, imagine
But
that.
I don't think that Greg agrees with this, though. With all due respect, I don't think he agrees with this.
Well, everybody chooses what they want to believe, eh?
Yeah.
Libertarians do whatever they feel. Neither God nor man could tell them that.
Yeah, that's what.
But
That's
when he
how they
quote
go.
in Romans 13 is not for libertarians. Paul and they pay tax. Paul and they did what he said. I think it's in Timothy too. Obey every ordinance of government. It's
Yeah.
in there, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know it's in there.
He
You
knows.
just you pick and choose. You No, so when his libertarians, they own themselves. So
Well,
imagine that they say all the employees are going to be on contract.
again, Sylvine, I don't want you to say his libertarians because I could be wrong, but as far as I know, Greg,
I'm saying in not any
Greg-
longer, but he's still spouting their
Greg,
ideologies.
yeah, but in terms of that special zone, Greg, I don't think Greg believes in it. I guess he would call in and.
But I wouldn't go so far. He's a libertarian by ideology. You understand? Now, what they're saying that all the employees are going to be on contract. I wonder the Labor Department is looking into it. It means if they are on contract, they are not required to pay Social Security for the workers.
Yeah.
You know that?
Another loophole. Yeah.
Yeah. So you work on, next thing you know, what happened to your pension?
And this brings up the question that Chesley Hamilton was speaking to yesterday when he said that the funny thing about the Labour Party is that when they are in power, you get no representation from the Labour Union. So this brings up another question.
Yeah, because I mean, you see, under the Labour law, when you are on contract, you get a job, you're responsible for getting the material yourself. The person who hire you, if they are controlling your movement, your action, what you can do,
Yeah.
then you're an employee. So imagine everybody going in there to work with no Social Security.
Yeah, and we know that they have been saying that Social Security needs some redress so that it can survive into.
Well, all of us who not going in to destiny, we have to support those who work and retire without any contribution, or with very little.
Well, I'm glad you made that input because I hadn't seen that perspective until you brought it up. I'm not aware of everything, and it's good when we have.
Well, I work in the government system.
Yeah.
Whenever they say you're on contract, because some people, you're going to do the work on contract, and then they want to tell you when you must come, how you must come, if you could go, if you can't go. Once those criteria are met, you're an employee, and they are required to pay Social Security for you. So it's well, you're going to get all the money to carry home. When you finish working, you're going to get nothing to carry home. And all of these are loopholes,
That's what I said. Another loophole. Yeah. And these again.
I wouldn't call them loophole. They're ignoring too much of the obvious.
These again strengthen the point that who is representing us, the people? How is it that we elected some individuals to represent us, but from every vantage point we see that the representation is for the external forces and not for us?
That's what I'm saying. So when I hear about, they're going to be on contract, I say, you all understand that? You need to know the Labor Department is supposed to step in now, right now, while they're still talking. If you're on contract, you're supposed to provide your own tools, equipment. Not responsible for you if you get damaged. You, unless you go register as self-employed. So out of the little bit they give you, you got to go insure yourself.
And these are the things that our people need to be aware of, because we hear, these people come in and they have all this money. And we don't seem to realize that if it is true that they have money, how did they get it? They got it by knowing all the loopholes, all the ways how they can make more money without spending and that kind of stuff. So how is it that our leaders are allowing this thing to happen here?
They stand to benefit, they personally stand to benefit.
Yeah. So their personal
Or
benefit.
the party, maybe not them personally.
Yeah.
The party.
So that trumps the people who elected them to be there where they are.
Let me tell you. Let me say it again. It sounds bad, but it's true. I love to hear my good friend talking about Africa. Africa. I cannot be Africa, The behavior that our leaders copy are those of the kings and governors along the Ivory Coast and the slave route who sold the people. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is true.
Well,
The
again,
British,
again,
the British,
again,
British.
Sylvine, again, Sylvine, I am not going to say discredit what you're saying because yes, some of them sold, but it's not all of us who were brought here were sold. So it's a give and
I know
take.
some of them, some came after slavery, but the point is this. The point is this. We will never been out here.
But look at
what we got through the agriculture, you know?
but look at the other side too. We would never have been out here if there was not a demand to enslave people.
But there are people that watch, you know, before the Africans were the Irish.
Yes, but they could not stand the conditions. That is why they wound up with us. You
That's
understand?
what they say. The truth is, you know the history. They used to grow the tobacco. And after Virginia in the States started to grow higher quality tobacco, the demand for the Caribbean or whatever one fell. So the matter of supply and demand, the demand fell. It was suggested by, I think, either Portuguese, but or whatever, that one way of recovering the economy would be to, because remember that they were working down in South America, Guyana, and they said, well, to do sugarcane, because they were doing sugarcane down there, you would need Africans because they could take more hard labor than the Irish.
But that is
But the Irish were here working.
But that is what I just.
In the same sun.
But that is what I just said.
And they were not getting sunstroke.
That is what I just said.
So it was more the crop that they were growing, and they were suggested, and they were shown how to grow and produce sugar.
Look, Sylvine, you see this thing that is happening right now in the U.S. where the United States president has decided that drugs is coming in there and killing its people, and so anybody who is shipping drug is a terrorist. You can just kill them.
Must know.
It's the same. It's the
One
same.
or the other.
It's the same thing, Sylvine. You
Wait,
would.
wait. You hear who they're trying to ship out? Now, people who work with the American army in Afghanistan. Remember the big horrible heat they had? Oh, how they get to bring out all the people? Trump is now saying, all those who came in, go on the boat and send them back. How are you going to send them back when you took them out?
But not only that, Sylvine, I don't want you to try to blur the point here. The point is there would not be a problem in the U.S. today if there was not a demand for drugs in the U.S.
Yes, but the demand was created after the Irish were not good enough, or the crop, they wanted to change the crop. If they did not go into growing sugarcane, they won't need them.
But that is not the relevant point. The point is that they needed them, one, and that they needed them because they were more resilient, two. And I juxtapose that with the fact that this thing where the American president is saying that you're terrorists because you're bringing drugs, all he has to do is train his people, teach his people to stop having a craving for drugs, and then people wouldn't be shipping it to them.
Oh, you see what you're saying? Somebody don't make no sense. They say that the drugs just kill. America's supposed to be the smartest country.
That's it.
Most intelligent people. And they are the ones demanding, if there's no demand for it. So why are they so depressed? Why are they so unhappy?
Because it's a lie, Sylvine. It's a lie. It's an excuse to try and take people's. It's to take people's.
It's simple. Something is wrong with Americans. Something is wrong. If you feel you have to, you already know the consequence of doing this thing. You want to blame China. It means that they're the stupidest of the people on the earth. Mm-hmm. It means that they don't have a sense.
But you see, you have a way of saying, Sylvian, and this is true. You have, and you said it even up to this morning. When you put a gallows for one, you might be the one end up being hung. They brought jugs. They used the CIA, and they brought jugs into the United States of America to decimate the black population because the black population was ambitious, was doing things, and they wanted to prove that
Some of them, because they handed the drugs to some of the black people in the ghettos to distribute.
That's what I'm saying.
We kill ourselves too, you know.
Look,
Sometimes we don't want to say it.
Sylvian, we kill ourselves because they brought it, and yes, we will. After we started using it, we lost our minds and we did a whole. But here's my point. My point.
Stop making excuses on them.
I'm not making excuse. I'm saying they brought it in. Here's the thing.
You ain't got to take it.
But Sylvian, they did it to the Chinese. They infiltrated China with opium just because the Chinese were selling them tea. You see how these people think? You're selling me a commodity.
All of them think alike, because you see, I tell you, if black people start to stand up for principles, even in St. Kitts, who was busy pushing the drugs and the guns and ammunition, our black people,
again, Sylvian,
whether they were brought in by a white, a purple, or green.
Again, Sylvian, I look, here's my point. I am not denying that black people have done things to black people. I'm speaking about the very beginning. I am saying because of the success that blacks were making, and they wanted to prove that blacks were next to nothing, they themselves, the government of the United States, brought drugs into the black
to
cities.
The community.
Yes, and the young people, black people decided to use it. But here's the point I wanted to make, and you keep interjecting.
No. They were distributing it.
Here's the point, Sylvian. The point is this. When they bought the drugs and they put it in the black communities, they forgot that white people are human beings too. And white people, whether they want to admit it or not, they tend to follow everything black people do. So black people invent jazz, they steal jazz and they take it for their own, and then after they steal jazz, they put laws in there and they say, this is the form of jazz that you're going to accept, and they keep blacks out of jazz.
I understand all of that, you know, but I am still saying black people have decisions to make.
I agree, but I am saying that the drug problem in the United States of America today, Sylvian, is because their own government brought it in there.
They want it so. You think they just want to keep them black? There are some areas in America. Heavy drug users. Now, find out why are your people in a country that is supposed to be number one so dependent on drugs? Why? It's a question they got to answer.
But they're not trying to answer it.
Because if, as you say, and as it is true, if there is no demand, the supply doesn't come in.
That's it.
That matter has to be addressed.
Yes.
What is the psychological state of Americans? That everybody could come and push in drugs, every drug. I mean, children, everybody.
But you see,
Sylvian, they so unhappy?
But you see,
they so unhappy?
You see that last question you asked, are they so unhappy? That is the point. The United States of America, they realize that their people are unhappy. The majority of the people, and let me say a majority of the white people, because the white people have felt entitled, the majority of them, they are unhappy because they now realize that their government outsourced their jobs, send their jobs all over the world, destroyed their middle class, and now they are unhappy, they are depressed, and the only way out of that depression and unhappiness is to turn to some artificial stimulation. And that is what their government is not owning up to.
And our black neighborhoods. I mean, the young people, some of them have no ambition. They're looking the easy way out. Easy way out. And in the end, they destroy other people. You know, when you got a child and you live in some kind of environment, try as you might, the child got to get a strong will not to follow the rest.
That's true.
And then we look, when well, I am 77, right? When you were growing up, you want to do something so you could escape the poverty.
Yeah.
You're not going to kill and rob and there's lots of foolishness that they're going on with. And when you talk to them, oh, are you old people? Or you want nobody have a good time? So somebody can determine our destiny. And it's the same destiny we be talking about.
Well, that's
What
it.
beat me that our leaders, they know, But by then, I don't stop running. That's to me, I could migrate. And, when we get better off, we tend to migrate to the poor here. You understand?
So maybe that is why we as a people have been oppressed for 400 years, because our very own leaders who are supposed to help to empower us
We are oppressing ourselves.
are oppressing us. So, and then,
But we are oppressing ourselves. If we choose them, you can't blame nobody.
well, you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. So it's an all round. We have to reassess and we have to think
Yeah,
about
and-
how we choose
And
our
most
leaders.
time it is obvious by what some leaders say and do. You're going to tell me that you know. This is the intention of these people. Oh, we rule ourselves. They're not going to pay no taxes. So, where will the government get money from?
No, the government doesn't want money. They want them to give everything. They want them to build a road. They want them to do electricity. They want
All
them
of
to
that
do
is
water.
inside. No, that is to be done. You know? You want to? All right then. All right then. See, all right then.
Yes.
Sorry
it-
about that. I'm going to hang up now.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to take a bit of a commercial break. Rather interesting conversation, but Sylvie intends to want to jump here and jump there. And I want if you have a point, you deal with that point and not be jumping all over the place. Even though all of her points, even when she jumped, they are valid. But I don't want this jumping from here to there, because she seems to want to put only the emphasis and all the emphasis on the fact that we as a black people are causing our own demise. That is true. That is true. But how are we going to do otherwise when the superpowers of the world seems intent on always beating us down, and our leaders who we pick to help us to chart a course out of that oppression side with them and help to keep beating us down? How are we going to deal with that? And part of it is in another part where she jumped off and she said, we have got to start thinking about how we pick the people who are going to lead us. We stop picking the people because they look nice, they sound good, they dress good, they got a good education. No. We start picking people who have shown somewhere in the past that they have some interest in how a society develops, and we take a chance on individuals who have a knack for the development of a given society. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and when I come back, we continue.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The battle for the crown is officially on. Sugar Mass 54 presents the Republic Bank Miss Teen St. Kitts and Nevis pageant on Saturday, December 13th at 7 p.m. All eyes turn to the Water Park Cricket Stadium as 8 brilliant young queens step forward to represent their schools with pride, purpose, and poise. Cheer for Kimaya McDonald of Keon High, Tatiana Archer of the Immaculate Conception Catholic School, Kamira Williams of Virchow's High, Kayleen Brown of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, Jewel Nisbet of the Dr. Denzel L. Douglas Secondary School, Galia Philtua of the Baxter High School, Kato Rollins of the Washington Archibald High School, and Selena Alwani of Sky Academy. One stage, one crown, one unforgettable night as these rising stars bring talent, elegance, and school spirit center stage. Who will rise? Who will shine? And who will take home the title? Find out live at the Warner Park Cricket Stadium. Admission is only $50 for adults and $40 for children under 18. Tickets available at skandcarnival.com. Sugar Mass 54, sweet to the core.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
The countdown is on. The sweetest season of the year is here. From December 13th to January 2nd, St. Kitts and Nevis comes alive once more with vibes galore, energy to explore, and moments sweeter than ever before. Sugar Mass 54, sweet to the core. The stage erupts with the passion of Calypso, the sweet sound of Pan, the heat of soca, dazzling pageants and traditions that make you love Carnival even more. Dance to the streets at Juve, celebrate folklore, and revel in the Grand Carnival Parade, a celebration of rhythm, color, culture. Sugar Mass 54, sweet to the core.
And I'm back. The time precisely 11 o'clock. And a bit of a good discussion there. And let me get back to that. Well, let me take this call. Hello, caller?
Yes, Quint?
Yes.
Yes, I would like to be as quickly as possible so others could get in.
Well, you don't have to be that. You don't have to be that quick, but you don't have to be that long either.
Of course, yes. Completely agree with you. Completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, number one, Quint, I have said in the past I was a libertarian. I've said that in a past review. I was a libertarian. But I am no longer a libertarian because based upon the Bible, I've come to believe in things that libertarians do not agree with, such as I am not for this thing called freedom of speech, freedom of religion. I am not for the legalization of homosexuality and those things, which goes against libertarianism. I guess Miss Henry missed that program. I hope she hears it this time around. Not only that, your previous program, I said certain things, and I did not go into them, repeated them in my last call on this program because I said them before, but apparently maybe I needed to repeat some of them. I have said that the reason why government today ought not to be making laws is because the canon of scriptures, the list of scriptures, has been closed 2,000 years ago, and I've said in previous program, because of that, today God only speaks to us through or via the scriptures only. He doesn't speak to us today in any other way, be it in dreams, visions, thoughts coming into your head, what you're hearing in your mind, all of those sort of stuff. They are not God speaking to us only. Well, if you remember scripture in your mind, yes, God is speaking to you through that scripture that you're remembering in your mind. But other than that, only through the scriptures God speaks to us today. So therefore, such thing as government making laws and those sort of stuff have ended 2,000 years ago when the Bible canon was closed. And with Moses, for example, Miss Henry bring up, those were laws Moses introduced to Israel that God gave him to introduce. But God doesn't operate that way anymore since the Bible was closed 2,000 years ago.
But Greg, you amaze me, you know, that you keep always saying God said this and God doesn't do that anymore. How you come to that conclusion? This is what amazes me about you people. How is it that you decide what God did then and what he's not doing now? And who gave you that knowledge and authority to do that?
Yeah, because I believe the Bible is 100% the infallible, inerrant, inspired, plenary, verbal word of God. Okay. 100%. That is why I say what I said. No, she did quote some scripture. She did allude to a scripture in 1 Peter chapter 2 where he says, submit yourself to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors, or unto them that are sent by him, for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well. 1 Peter chapter 2 verses 13 to 14. Now, what people need to answer, including Miss Henry, it is not a blank check for government to do anything and for the saints to obey government no matter what. It's not a blank check. It's not an absolute thing. The saints from Genesis to Revelation, many of the time, in obedience to God, they defied and went against governments and their laws, because those laws went against the Bible, and if the saints was to obey them, they would have been sinning against God. And because the saints went against men and governments, they were imprisoned, they lost their property, they were murdered by governments and men, and there were all kind of negative things were done to them. Because the saints, as Peter said, always believe we are to obey God over man when there is a clash. So what Peter said is not an absolute thing. It only works when the saints are not required by the government to go against the Bible. Once that is the case, then yes, we obey the government ordinances and that sort of stuff. Once they do not require the saints to go against the Bible in any way. When that is the case, Peter said we obey God rather than men. And of course, I've made it known for a good while now, over and over again on the radio, that I am against the destiny thing and I'm against the SSZ thing. I mean, that should go without saying. Apparently, Miss Henry probably never listened to me when I made my negative comments.
That is why I try to defend you on that, because I'm not gonna let people, because you hear me and Greg going back and forth on the biblical things. I'm not gonna let you say things that I know Greg don't adhere to and not
constantly
make
go against it. I constantly go against, and you hear me speak very negatively of Mark Brantley.
Yeah.
You heard me speak very, and even our government as well.
Yeah.
But Mark Brantley, when it comes to SSZ, and so you hear me speak very negatively against him. Lastly, I would like to say this as well, okay? Miss Henry, with all due respect to Miss Henry, good afternoon, have a blessed day, Miss Henry. But with all due respect to Miss Henry, she's getting mixed up between libertarianism and libertine. They sound kind of similar in name, but they're miles apart in definition. And Miss Henry is mixing up libertine for libertarianism. I agree with libertarianism only as far as where it overlaps in its points with the Bible. There is some overlap in between its points and what the Bible teaches. Only to that degree, I agree with libertarianism. But as I said earlier, I no longer refer to myself as a libertarian, because I believe in many things that they do not believe because of what the Bible teaches. Take care, Quint.
Yeah.
God bless. Take care.
Same to you. Yeah. So let's take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
This November and December, it's It's triple the fun at Hosford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Shop on hire purchase during our triple cashback season and get triple cashback coupons for free groceries. Plus, a chance to spin the wheel to win every Friday.
Join Sugar Bowl live in store as 3 lucky customers each week spin for fabulous prizes. From flat screen TVs and small appliances to housewares, free groceries, and much, much more.
It's excitement, rewards, and comfort rolled into one. Triple the cashback, triple the prizes, triple the fun. Only at Hosford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Hosford's, where style, comfort, and savings live.
And I'm back with you. The time 10 minutes moving away from the 11 o'clock hour. If there's anything you feel you want to speak about, then give me a call and we will hear what you have to say. Whatever your perspective is, bring it to the fore and we can discuss it. Okay? Now, back to this. Okay, let me go to the phone lines. Hello, caller.
Clint?
Yes.
Now, I've listened to Mrs. Henry and Gregory. Now, let me start with Gregory first. According to Gregory, God doesn't do things the way he did before. God changed his mind. Now, Quint, follow me on this, right? Here we have the book that's supposed to be the infallible word of God, according to Greg and the translators. And in that same book it says, God said, I am yesterday, today, and will be forever. But Greg is saying God changed his mind. Now this is the highly intelligent God that we gravitate to, Quint. But God changed his mind. He don't do things he did when, as we would say, in the beginning. He doesn't speak to holy inspired men anymore. But Quint, follow me on this, right? Now, let us look at when men became flesh, according to this same Bible. Or should I say, the translators, Quint, who have taken us away from nature itself. Because according to Genesis chapter 1, man was the last thing formed on this earth. Animal, bird, fish, plant, everything was there before man. Now in Genesis chapter 1 it says, God created male, female in his image and likeness and gave them herb for meat. Quint, look at the animals. Are they free or are they bound? The animal go, they feed from the provision that was provided in earth. I created male and female in my image and likeness and bless you and give you herb for meat. We are created higher above the animals, but the animals are not free. What I'm trying to say, Quint, something we were interrupted, and that interruption has taken us away from nature. Let me also point this out, Quint. I journey know that my ancestors were in alignment with earth, air, water, fire, and the Spirit and the risen Savior, the light of the world, the S-U-N, the Son of God. Because in as much as we are in this month of December right now, Quint, the S-U-N is preparing to go to the winter solstice, where it's going to be crucified for 3 days. We're talking about astrology being brought into ecology, Quint. But for the person, the physical person that this book gave us in a Jesus that walked on this earth, it never happened, Quint. There are no archaeological facts that tells us that Jesus walked the face of the earth. Astrology, the SUN, is going to the winter solstice where it spent 3 nights, 3 days into the cold, where it is crucified, and it rose again on the southern hemisphere, and it traveled back. But you see, now, Mrs. Henry mentioned destiny this morning, Quint. And the word in itself speaks volume, but, like I would always say, the mind of the oppressor is trapped in our politicians. The word destiny in itself, Quint, we're not even paying attention. Now, I am agreeing with Mrs. Henry by saying whose destiny are being secured here. But the mind of the oppressor is trapped into our politicians. Oppression has become comfort. And we are comfortable with this. Now, Quint, this morning when I called earlier, I said I wanted to talk about the paradox between two things. But just let me focus on seeking and recognition, Quint. The same Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto you. But why would I seek, Quint? They're telling me this. I'm looking at the translators, Quint. Seek ye first. Well, if I'm seeking, it means that I don't have it. So I have to seek for it. But once I recognize that the kingdom of heaven is within me, Quint, why do I have to seek? You see, seek is external. Recognition is recognizing that I have all that I need that was provided for me. Resonance to raise my consciousness to vibrate with the universe. Because what is within me, Quint, as the kingdom of heaven is within me, is journey knowing that I am a universe. As above, so below, as without, so within. I am connected to everything on this planet that is of life. And the DNA of my ancestors who were in alignment, Quint, that DNA, it is loaded with memories that were sleeping for the past 400 years. I am reactivating my DNA by reconnecting to who were before me, recognizing, Quint, that my ancestors are me and I am my ancestors. The cycle of descending, spirit descend, born into flesh to the womb of the female deity. Once that spirit became flesh, the avatar, this earthly body. While we are on earth, we are to ascend to complete the cycle. We are not ascending, Quint, because we were interrupted.
But Johnny, I keep telling you, when I hear you, and I know what you're trying to say and where you're coming from. And occasionally, you go down the path I want you to go. I want whenever you come with something new to add. Here's this. Are you aware of quantum physics?
Yes, Quint.
To what extent?
Well, you know, the thing is about quantum physics. I'm learning recently, Quint, quantum physics and...
Okay, stop there. So are you aware of quantum entanglement?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you come and you say that we are spirit and we are part of the universe, I want you to do research and come with things that can teach people some of these things, because people don't understand that when I sit down here and you sit across from me and I look at you, depending on my confidence, my self-confidence, I can send my energy to you. You understand? And you can sit down in that chair across from me and feel intimidated by my aura because of the energy that I am sending you. Now, that is only putting it in a small way. But that energy, we as people have got to learn to understand that we somehow, because of how we live, how we eat, the things that we do, we get so much into trivial things like oversexed and overeating and over drinking that we reach a point that we've lost that link with our energy, because that energy has a link with the universe. And if we get back into that link with our energy, the universe can communicate things to us. So I said that to say, I want when you come that you don't just bring, because mostly when I hear you, and I don't want you to take this in a negative, mostly when I hear you, you're repeating the same thing. Yes, sometimes I agree with you, you have to repeat it, but repeat it in a context that every time you come, you bring something new, a little bit new, something so that someone who is not aware of certain things that you're saying get a little bit more to learn every time.
Well, Quint, yeah. No, I try to articulate because the information is coming to Journey.
Yes.
And I identify with it because my thoughts are with what I receive.
Yes.
Now, for instance, when I say we are spirit, Quint, remember some months ago I asked you if you ever ask yourself why you can't remember the day you were born.
Yes.
Here we are remembering. Now, taking consideration that it's our parents who recorded the day we were born. So we know of a date as we grow. But the actual day that we were born, we don't remember because we went through a metaphor. Spirit take on the fleshly body, this avatar. So we don't remember. But we were interrupted, Quint, because those who were before us were in alignment. That is why I say, Journey say, we have moved away from building pyramids to we're now building churches.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, Quint, our ability, our consciousness was tampered with, and it is broad, Quint, because if we are to take what the book says, everything began in heaven as to why those that were cast out.
But again, Journey, I'm glad you said that last statement. I want you to stop putting so much emphasis on the book, because even though I understand what you're doing, the book is of, if we keep putting emphasis on the book, we lose what the main objective of getting that link with that spiritual element. Those of us who have reached a certain point where I grew up in the church. From ever since I was young, I was always questioning the book and how it came to me. So now when I come, the only point you would hear me sometime arguing about the book is when I speak to Greg, because he's all about the book. But you notice, apart from when I speak to Greg, I don't delve too much in the book. I broaden everything. So I understand why you refer to the book, because the book is the main thing that has been used to keep us in the state that we're in today. I understand that. But I want you to get people to start stepping away gradually from the book.
Okay, great. Now let me say this right. I have stated before, and some people they rebuff this statement where I said I am the book.
Yes.
My DNA have memories that I am now tapping into. I am the book.
You mean the original book? You mean the original book?
Yes. I am the book, Quint.
Yes.
Because you see, the blood that flows through me have memories. My DNA have memories. And you see, all that we're tapping into right now, Quint, is that we are raising our consciousness to vibrate with the universe. No, when I go to the book, Quint, I am going to the book because the book stated that the spirit, one spirit descend upon the face of the deep. Journey is saying that there are more than one spirit descend, because there's nowhere when spirit became flesh where the book stated that my children are going to be like the sand on the shore and the stars in the heavens. There's no one creation that created that. So, no, the book in itself, Quint, the book is like a prison. The book having principles. You have politics, and this is what Journey is saying. Let us look at the very... Earlier, I think, not too long ago, one of them was talking about, the appetite. The appetite for Americans and Europeans for drugs.
Well,
They have an appetite for these things.
when you say Americans, remember the Americans are really Europeans, okay?
Exactly, they are one race.
Yeah.
No, they have an appetite. Can you go back to when tobacco was the big thing, Quint? Who was smoking? But it was infiltrated down into our community in America and Europe. And this is why Journey is saying we are going along to get along. You raised a point this morning about the young man in your journey into Bastia. And look at that trend that is with our people today. But we are going along to get along. Look at what Mrs. Henry was talking about. Oh, well, we are killing ourselves. We need to build. We need to. Well, didn't we have our Black Wall Street in America? What they did to it? Our unity is a threat to them. Now, Quint, I can't touch everything, so allow me to speak the way I'm speaking, and who have ears to hear, let them hear, because, Quint, we were all brought up into the book, in the church. Now, look what we went to during COVID. Who was talking to us when the churches were closed on, Quint? But we didn't get the message. We didn't grasp the message that the Most High does not dwell in temples made by hands. And I've stressed on that over and over. But look at the animal kingdom, Quint. Do they toil? Do they spin? But provision was made for them. That same provision was made for us. But you see, we were interrupted, and our interruption has taken us away from being in harmony with earth, water, air, fire, spirit, and the SUN, the light of the world. This is deep, you know, and I know our people are not ready for it.
And stop saying our people aren't ready for it. I hear what you're saying, but that is why you're trying to teach and we're trying to teach, right? People cannot know whether they're ready for something until they're subjected to it. When they're subjected to it, then they make the choice as to whether they're ready for it or not.
Right, Quint. No, you know, you said you always question. You always question in your earlier days, Quint. When you question, you open doors for awareness. Exploration, expand awareness. Your reality is your realization. But you see, they gave us fear, Quint. Fear. And that fear in itself is keeping us submissive because we don't bother to question. We don't bother to question, Quint. I mean, to tell me that God don't do things the way he did then, now. And the same book says, I am yesterday, today, and will be forever.
Oh, Journey, I want you to wrap up now. So you remember, you can always break your things down in pieces and so forth. So,
yes, Quint.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just leave it there for now.
Yeah, okay.
All
so we'll take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
The countdown is on. The sweetest season of the year is here. From December 13th to January 2nd, St. Kitts and Nevis comes alive once more with vibes galore, energy to explore, and moments sweeter than ever before. Sugar Man's 54, sweet to the core. The stage erupts with the passion of Calypso, the sweet sound of Pan, the heat of Soca, dazzling pageants and traditions that make you love Carnival even more. Dance to the streets at Juve, celebrate folklore, and revel in the Grand Carnival Parade, a celebration of rhythm, color, culture. Sugar Mass 54, sweet to the core.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
The battle for the crown is officially on. Sugar Mass 54 presents the Republic Bank Miss Teen St. Kitts and Nevis pageant on Saturday, December 13th at 7 p.m. All eyes turn to the Water Park Cricket Stadium as 8 brilliant young queens step forward to represent their schools with pride, purpose, and poise. Cheer for Kimaya McDonald of Keon High, Tatiana Archer of the Immaculate Conception Catholic School, Kamira Williams of Virchow's High, Kaylin Brown of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, Joel Nisbet of the Dr. Denzel L. Douglas Secondary School, Galia Philtu of the Baxter High School, Kato Rollins of the Washington Archibald High School, and Selena Alwani of Sky Academy. One stage, one crown, one unforgettable night as these rising stars bring talent, elegance, and school spirit center stage. Who will rise? Who will shine? And who will take home the title? Find out live at the Warner Park Cricket Stadium. Admission is only $50 for adults and $40 for children under 18. Tickets available at skncarnival.com. Sugar Mass 54, sweet to the core.
And I'm back with you. The time is 11:31, and rather a bit of an interesting discussion there with Journey. I think he has a fitting name, Journey, because we are all on a journey whether we know it or not. Well, from the time we come into the world as a child and we continue living until we die, we are on that journey. And during that journey, it is about learning during that journey. During our sojourn here within this realm, we must be aware of why are we here in this realm? What is the significance of our existence? Why is it that the existence within this realm is a sort of an ecosystem where you breathe in oxygen, you breathe out carbon dioxide, and the trees, they breathe in carbon dioxide and they breathe out oxygen. Why is this? Is this a trivial thing? Is this thing of some paramount importance? Hello, caller.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Moderator. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Okay. I'm doing pretty okay. I want to take your attention a little lower, bring it back down to earth in relation to what is affecting us in the Federation destiny. I listened to our Prime Minister as he made the rounds last week, twice on radio, to try to defend his SSV and to separate it from destiny. And he only made matters worse. Let me say here that the Prime Minister believes that the people of the Federation lacks common sense, lacks understanding, and that he owns the right to tell us what is right from what is wrong, what we should accept and what we cannot accept. It appears to me that he, along with the Premier of Nevis, has made up their minds and settled that destiny is good for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And in spite of all that is shown to the Prime Minister of the flaws, the potential for manipulation, disrespect, disenfranchisement, the loss of our sovereignty, he is not mindful to repeal his bill, but according to him, he is going to tweak it and tighten it. but he's not mindful to change it. Now, the Prime Minister was so arrogant, Mr. Moderator, that on his last show, he made it abundantly clear that he was not going to listen to any politician or any journalist. He only wanted to hear from ordinary people. My question is, who gives him the right to do this? Issue is such a vexing issue. If he has a problem with Timothy Harris, and if he has a problem with Pam, that is the issue. Pam has a representative inside the parliament. Timothy Harris is a representative in the parliament. For sure, the Nevis Reformation Party has nobody in the parliament, in delegates. And so we should be allowed to address the Prime Minister on any issue, whether we are politicians, oppositions, or anybody else. But he shut off that. Now, the disrespect that comes from Mr. Johnson, Mr. Moderator, has becoming clearer and clearer, and this is facilitated by our Premier and our Prime Minister. Part of the packaging that Mr. Johnson is offering to us to get us as citizens to buy into his destiny project and all the offerings that he is making. He has insulted us, especially the people of Nevis.
But let me ask you a question. Let me interject and let me ask you a question because Sylvine continuously says that we are part of our own demise, and I agree with her to some extent. If it is that this special SSD, and I said it numerous times before, that they want to buy X amount of land, and if it is that our Premier, we're going to follow our Premier, even though we can't seem to be able to pin him down because he's here, there, he's all over the place. One day it's where we haven't really negotiate to a point of finality, but recently we hear him say we don't expect when this year is finished that we're going to go into the next year, and we haven't come to a conclusion. Having said all that, if it is that this SSD is dependent upon the land that is bought to exist, why is it that Nevisians, regardless of whether you say that he's disrespectful or not, why is it that Nevisians are still selling this land? It is like the point with the jugs. If there's not a demand for jugs, then people won't bring it to you. If people want land and you stop the sale of land and you don't negotiate with them in terms of swapping land, where will they get the land to conclude the deal? So long ago when this came up about land and they want land, people in Nevis should have realized that you hold the ultimate, you hold the handle and they hold the blade. All you got to do is stop selling them lands. But it seems to me that if I listen to the Premier, you're still selling them lands because they're finalizing the deal. Either that or he's lying.
I am not sure that people are still selling lands. From what I gather from Mr. Johnson, is that for some time now, perhaps over a period of 2 years, maybe more,
yes,
he has been secretly buying land through the business real estate agent of the Premier's wife.
Yes.
Johnson is saying to us that nobody knew why he was buying the land. So, through his real estate agent, they were approaching people, asking people if they're mindful to sell land, and some people were willing to sell their land.
Yes.
But the people did not know that this was a part of a destiny project that will cut off us from. When the people found out, because I've had interaction with persons who said to me that they made agreement to sell their land.
Yes.
But when they found out what the land is purchased for, they said they are not going through with their deal, the deal. They want their land. They will never sell it.
And that's what I'm saying. So go ahead.
So I do not know how many people are selling lands.
Yes.
But I know they were able to buy land, and I have not heard the Premier said, from the time they announced how much land they had already purchased, I have not heard him say that they have been able to purchase any other.
Yes.
What I have discovered is that there's some land in area with
Your voice has gone very, very weak.
Okay, let me say it here.
Yeah,
so
go
what
ahead.
I've discovered that there's some lands in the area, according to the government, the Premier,
Yes.
that really has no owner.
Yes.
And it falls back to the state.
Yes.
And that he is mindful to swap out those lands with the developers for land somewhere else.
Mm.
And so the people of Nevis are conscious of the fact now that destiny has been a phony, a fake, a deception on the people of Nevis.
Yes.
Because the Premier is telling us, remember yesterday somebody Premier told us that he knows nothing
Yes. Yes.
about any development.
Yes.
While Johnson is telling us that he and the Premier and the Prime Minister have been in intense discussion since 2024 summer.
Yes.
No, so the Premier lied to us.
So here's this. I'm going to go back to my point again. I too heard when there was this gathering and a particular woman asked him a question, and I remember he going off into his rant about he can't deal with rumors and that is all rumors. In hindsight now, you look at it and you see where he was really being disingenuous if we're going to follow what the developer is now saying. But here's what I am saying. I am saying, now that you have also admitted that the people of Nevis are now aware of what is going to happen to this land. They're now aware, I would assume that they are now aware that if they lose this land, we're never going to get it back. I would assume they understand that if these developers own this land, Nevisians will not be able to have that land, that vast amount of land, for their children's posterity. So if Nevisians are now cognizant of that fact, Nevisians who have not outright already sold land should be able to go back and say, look, let's end this negotiation. I don't want to sell, period. And those who were contemplating selling land but were unaware of what it was all about, don't do that. Because from what I gather, if they don't get the amount of land that they require for this SSZ, they can't conclude the deal. So then the Nevisians, it is either that they already have the land or they don't have the land. So that is where I want you to enlighten me, or maybe you can't do it now, but I would like you to do some research and find out how much land they have and how much they need, and also make Nevisians aware that they are in a position to retard this development.
Well, according to Johnson, that he would have had some agreement on lands already. I think it's over 100 acres.
Yes.
If my memory serves me right. It seems as if that deal was settled. I do not know if everybody, those that he has, that they were settled on in time in terms of the final payment, or it's just that they have this binding legal agreement.
Okay, let me ask you this. Are you aware, and this is what I want people to aware of, are you aware that when a developer who has, if we're going to follow him, if a developer has been negotiating for 2 years, in excess of 2 years, and he's now coming to the public, are you aware that that is a form of desperation? Are you aware that he's now coming to the public because whatever they need he needs to somehow convince the public that they need to buy into this thing. People this is why I question how much money they really have, because I don't just take things at face value. I look at the broad spectrum. If people have money, they don't waste their time tying up for 2 and something years and a deal, nothing seems to be imminent. This looks to me as a form of people trying a thing, people trying a scam, and and if that scam doesn't come to a conclusion, they begin to get desperate. The fact that the developer now is coming and speaking on public forums tells you something. Are you aware of that?
I am in total agreement with you.
Yes.
I think the developer understood that the sell pitch by the Premier of Nevis is seriously lacking.
Yes.
He realized now that his scheme has been uncovered.
Yes.
And it does not sit so well with the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So he's offering to the point now that he's saying that he's willing at this present moment, if agreed upon by our leadership, he is willing to give us $1 per day. Give every citizen $30 per month. That is $1 per day. As part of us trying to buy us into his deal. I mean, it is that's the epitome of insult.
Yes.
Our Prime Minister is running to Africa talking about African unity and being solidarity with our young people, our African brothers and sisters. And here he is, the head of a country where a white man is coming and insulting your people, offering them $1 per day to buy into his deal. And we haven't heard a word from our Prime Minister in saying this is insulting and demeaning to us as a country and especially as a black people.
Because it seems that somehow this developer has already convinced our leaders that it is beneficial for them. So they're not concerned about us anymore. They're only concerned about selling this thing so that the developer can benefit, and whatever he has promised them, they can benefit from it also.
I will go a little further. This to me, personally, is not just what he has offered. I think any reasonable person can think that these people has already gotten something somewhere under the table somewhere. I mean, it is clear for anybody with reason to think that way. The person said that
I would
they're
agree.
not thinking that they're not reasonable.
I would agree with you. But let me put forward this. You realize that at one point we were dependent on the citizenship by investment, the passport thing. Okay. Yes. And you realize that then it seems as if our leaders all over the Caribbean felt like that was the only thing. Everybody was selling passport like crazy. Now, because of the external forces pressure, we've reached a point where it seems as if though the leaders in the Caribbean, the majority of them don't see that this is going to be a sustained thing. So now they're looking at...
Let me pause it right there.
Yes.
Because I'm happy that you said that, because Johnson is now saying that is part of the mechanism that he's going to use to fund his Destiny project. They're going to put in the initial money to start, but he's going to be dependent upon the people who buy the passport, buy up the citizenship, because the Premier has already said that everybody who is living, who's going to occupy that zone, his 10,000 people that he disposed, all of them will have to pay the requisite citizenship money that they normally pay.
Okay, so caller, you
He's
understand?
now saying that he's going to be using some of that money to build out his Destiny project.
So caller, this brings us to the point that I've been trying to say all along. Why is it that we are so blind to the facts that things that are facing us in the staring us in the eye? So it then means that the developer does not have the funding that they need to do the development. So all of this picture that we saw with that pie in the sky cascading around the mountainside, which from the time I saw it, I knew that it was a marketing strategy. It means that the developer is trying to find ways of getting monies to fund what they're doing, and they're trying to use us through our leadership to get it. Isn't that obvious?
That is absolutely obvious, and Jensen himself made that absolutely obvious, because the Premier sold it as these people is going to bring a whole lot of money into the country. Jensen is development. Jensen is now saying to us that he will be dependent upon the the money from the passport sale and whatever it is there to build out his project. He's going to start it. He has money to start it.
And you
but
see,
he doesn't have money to build out what he wants.
And you see, this again reminds us of the Christoph Harbour thing. It's the very same. It's the very same thing. So people come, they say we have this load of money. However, they are able to fool our leaders. Our leaders buy into it. And this is why our leaders wind up financing these individuals. Our leaders buy into it. These people are smart enough that they know that these leaders depend on going the next poll, going to the polls and getting you to vote for them. So the leaders buy into it, and then after they have bought into it, then the leaders realize, boy, this thing isn't going to pay out the kind of stuff that we want. So the developers now can put pressure on the leaders to get them to go to our own banking system and finance them, because they don't want to look back to say, well, okay, we brought this thing to you, it's going to be this big development. So they come take money out of our coffers to help to bail out like a Christoph Harbour on more than 2 occasions, or at least 2 occasions. And next thing you know, years later, you hear that Christoph Harbour is selling a marina. You understand, when they sell that marina, where does that money go? Into their pocket. So they come, they use us to finance their project, and then they go as long as to the point where they can now reach a point where they can sell it and make a profit. Don't you see that that's what they're doing with the Destiny thing again?
That is Destiny, but Jansen is very smart because he made reference to those things and speaking about those failed projects in St. And he doesn't want the same thing to happen to Destiny. His Destiny is different. But his MO is the very same method.
It's the very same.
money to build out his
It's the very same.
Project.
It's the very same.
It's the very same thing. The two last thing I'm going to do to the people, because Jansen said that St. Kitts Nevis is a high crime country. He said that. Even when the host was telling now things are down,
yes,
he said that we are high crime.
Yes, yes.
So he wants a zone that is secured, so secure that the rich people could come in and raise their family.
But hear this. If it is a high crime, if it is a high crime country, why you want a zone in it?
No, because that's why the SSG to give him. That's why he demanded, according to the Premier of Nevis, that he wants this SSG legislation, because he's going to be given some extra privileges that we don't have.
So that, caller, that is my point. If you have you have a crime zone, by your own words, this is a crime-filled zone, but you want a place in it. The fact that you want a place in it, doesn't it mean that these people who can't even control their own crime element, I want a place in that where I can control a proximity within them that I have control over? Isn't it obvious?
That is obvious, and he made it abundantly clear.
And if it is obvious, then it means that no matter what our leaders tell us about them not having privilege and them not, is a lie again, because let's go back to the point. This is a crime-filled country, but you want a space in it. If you want a space in a crime-filled country, the only way you're not going to be part of that crime in that country is to have your own rules.
That is true. He's going to have his own security to secure his rich people inside his zone to raise their family. And so he said that is important to him. The two main important things for him is to have a safe zone for them to raise their family and to have low taxation. And so inside the zone, he would have already had guarantee from our government that he'll be given this zone, he'll be allowed to establish this zone, he'll be having this additional security to secure his zone, and he'll be able to have tax breaks.
Well, let me ask you this, Tulu. I'm sure you're aware of these two old sayings. One is time is longer than twine, and the other is when wind blows, you see foul bottom. So you understand that those two are linked.
Yes.
Because with time, we are being revealed. Time is revealing what we didn't see before. And when the wind blows, that is when pressure starts to come, because the wind is a form of pressure, pressure against the feathers of the bird, and the pressures against the feathers of the bird exposes the bird, right?
That's true.
So the old saying by our elders were very, very savvy, you know, my friend.
They were wise. They were wise. And our leaders do not want us to learn from them. So they are saying to us, do not listen to what, do not look at what you see and pay attention to what you see or what you hear. Listen to what I tell you. Sadly, that there's some of us inside our country who have sat down and said, if the Prime Minister says X, it is right regardless of what they see and hear.
Yeah.
And if the Premier says X, it is right regardless, even though it is facing them stark in their face. Because while the SSG doesn't say a country within a country, you don't see it in the inside there.
Yeah.
What they are exposing, what the Janssen are exposing, could only be concluded that this is what they want.
This is what they want.
They got to be given a space where they have their own security. Our Premier is now saying that he is renegotiating with them some of the provision that is in what they call the SSV, where the developers should provide, because they didn't say shall, okay, or may provide. He is now renegotiating some of them, and rather than them building up their own port, that he's telling them shift and develop a port and work with us. And rather than you develop your own health care as they had planned, you shift that and you tap into the national health care and what's not.
But my friend, all of that is only because they realize that there's resistance now, and all of that is a sort of compromising so that they can still meet their end, and their end is to get the land.
True.
So here's it. So here's this. So here's this, because we're almost out of time. Here's this. People say if something looks too good to be true, it's often too good to be true. Okay?
It is not true.
So hear this. A lot of us who had a problem with this passport, people getting citizenship by selling passport, now we see the detriment of this. Because no matter where we twist and turn, we see it always comes back to individuals who externally, and there were questions asked about it, you know. The question was, what if a lot of these people who have our passports decide to come back home and take up residence? And here's what we heard: oh no, man, they only want to use our passport so that they can go to other countries and so forth. But here's it now: a large number of them want to get our passport and set up a zone in our proximity. You see why this citizenship passport thing was never a good thing in the first place? Because you only, how much passport can you sell as a country before you run out of land, and you're going to keep selling and keep selling and keep selling? Why didn't our governments continue down the vein that they should have gone? Develop your infrastructure, make sure that you bring investment so that your people can get job. Why is it they moved away from that and just decided that they were going to sit down by a desk and just sign, selling passport and look for an easy way out? That is now to our detriment.
You are absolutely spot on. Our governments were lazy. They wanted an easy way out, and the easy way out was to sell us. Because when you sell our passport,
that's what you do.
Anybody, you sell us our sovereignty.
That's
because
it.
When our Prime Minister is saying that we have over 50,000 people out here that owns our passport, those are more people who live in the country.
Yeah.
And they can come at any time and they have the right, according to the Premier, as any other citizens in St. Kitts Nevis.
Yeah.
So they could come in whenever they want, buy up what they want, they have the money and they control the system.
Yeah.
And so, but I just wanted, I'm happy that you're with us, selling this message, getting it across. And we have to continue to persecute this message.
Well, caller, I'm going to always be with you, because you see, my father is a Nevisian. I'm from the wards and the Queely. You understand? I'm from the wards, and you know the wards are in Nevis, and I'm from the Queelies, and you know the Queelies are in Nevis. So even though I was born here, I know my history. And I know the history of St. Kitts and Nevis is that before a lot of us came down, our foreparents came down here to live, we were living on Nevis. You understand? Down here was the planter place, and that is why when you come down here and you look back at our history, those who came down to Nevis and lived were Nevisians, and they lived in the places like the Guts and the so on and so forth. Over time, because they came down here and they got children down here, we let it get to our heads, and we got all inflated and important and say we're no longer Nevisians, we're Kittitians because we're born down here, and we forget our roots. And our roots is you cannot go back, and this is a fact, you cannot go back into the history of any true Kittitian born here and not find a division in there.
Thanks for that, and reminding the people of St. Kitts that we are indeed one people. And so therefore we are in this fight together, because if destiny is allowed to take on, it will affect not only Nevis, but it will be affecting both St. Kitts and Nevis.
Definitely.
It's going to touch you to your core.
Yes.
And so we are going to continue to prosecute this. We are going to try to open the eyes of these people whom Premier Brantley and Dr. Joe has schooled into closing their eyes to what they see and shutting out their ears to what they hear, and to accept only what both of them said to them.
Yes.
We have to try to continue to open up their eyes, and that they can see that this thing is not good for Nevis. Telling about our passport was bad enough.
Yes, bad enough.
But to bring destiny on top of this is what we will call, the old people say, burial on top of corpse. And we must not allow that to happen.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, for the time. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome, and it has been a pleasure interacting with you also. Do take care. This is how we're going to bring an end to Voices for today. Thank you for your continued listenership and your occasional interjections and participation. We look forward to it. Do take care.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Ready to make this holiday season your biggest and brightest yet? Whatever the reason, come to National Bank this season for the perfect gifts, new furniture, or new appliances.